Hey guys, Hayden from iMove Physio Miranda here. Today I'm just going to be talking about unilateral strength training. A great tool to add into your strength training routine to even out some imbalances and improve your overall performance. So what is unilateral strength training? Unilateral strength training is basically favouring one limb at a time. So there's a couple of ways that this can be done. So in the lower limbs, there's split stance training such as lunges, Bulgarian split squats, those kinds of movements, which aren't quite unilateral training because the rear leg is still involved. Or complete unilateral strength training would be single leg squats, those kinds of movements. So why would you choose this type of training over the more conventional bilateral strength training exercises such as squats, deadlifts, those kinds of movements? I'm going to go over 4 quick points here. The first one being that they're more specific to sport. Most of our sporting endeavours are done on one leg at a time. So you think of running, soccer, cutting, football, those kinds of sports. You're generally going from one leg to the other. You're not just planted on both feet at the same time. So the next point is injury rehab and prevention, particularly for injury rehab. If you have, say, injured your left knee, hi Charlotte, how are you? If you've injured your left knee, generally there's going to be some weakness and a deficit in strength there. So taking the time to specifically work on that left leg will help bring the strength up and even out the strength imbalance from left to right. Plenty of good research to show that with imbalances, you want them as even as possible to reduce your overall injury risk. Point number 3 is recruiting stabilisers. Obviously, as soon as you get onto one leg, or you're just pressing with one arm, say pressing a kettlebell overhead as opposed to a barbell, you're recruiting a lot more stabilisers there. So it's a great way to work those smaller muscles around the joints and help improve your overall joint health. This is like different stability training to trying to stand on a Bosu ball on one leg while juggling. It's has a much better carryover to your general sport. And the last point is probably the biggest one, and that's to take advantage of the bilateral strength deficit. So what is the bilateral strength deficit? It's basically saying that when you train on both legs, you're not as strong as the sum of the individual legs. So to put that in perspective, if you can say squat 100 kilos for 5 reps, logic would say that you could probably handle 50 kilos on each leg for those 5 reps. The bilateral strength deficit, it flips that around. So each leg will be more than the whole. So 1 + 1 equals more than 2. So if you can squat 100 kilos on both legs, you can probably manage 55 or 60 on each leg individually. So the advantage to this is that you are then, say you're single leg squatting 60 kilos or Bulgarian split squatting 60 kilos, the load on your spine is a lot less. Obviously, if your balance isn't the best, it's going to take a bit of time to build up to that, but get working on it. I recommend implementing these unilateral strategies in your warm-ups. It's a good way to identify where your weaknesses are, whether it's your one leg or one arm. Figure out where those weaknesses are and then start to do some work on those weaknesses, bring them up. Once you get the balance aspect of the lower limb stuff down, then add them into your overall strength training program. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments below and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.